Hello friends, what's going on? Welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. And welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion, but of course, more importantly, asking for yours. Today we're talking about a couple of things, citing the fact how apparently Barcelona are after Chelsea's young talisman, Mason Mount. We can discuss his form and stuff. Also, we're referencing an article from the Evening Standard talking about Todd Boehly's new partner and his attempt to buy Chelsea Football Club more money and more people involved with his consortium, and we'll reflect on why he's probably the best candidate. Settle in, get comfortable, do consider subscribing if you're new to the channel, and if you choose to subscribe, please hit that all-important bell notifications icon, and I'll show you so much sweet loving appreciation if you drop a like, mate. Is it that side? It might be that side, who knows, it could be this side. Either way, please drop a like. Mate, do you like fantasy football like me? Oh, you do? Well, you'll be very interested to hear how this video is brought to you by SPITCH. SPITCH is a free-to-play type of fantasy football, but it's the best, and I'll tell you why, because it uses Opta stats. Woo! It's literally the thinking man's fantasy football. We all forget weeks to change our team, but SPITCH you play every week. You don't commit a team to the season, so it's perfect for people like me and probably you. And if you like to think about the beautiful game, you will appreciate how this uses Opta stats. It's not like a few basic things like, oh, he didn't get a clean sheet, the defender didn't get any points. No. SPITCH makes sure you can get points for all sorts. Though it's free to play, you can also put wagers down, play against other managers from around the world, so it is 18+. You can choose to play free or you can choose to win money. Simply click the link down in the description to check out SPITCH now. We're going to start off with the Mason Mount story from football.london, so let's get into it. Right, Mason Mount, not in the greatest of form at the moment, quite a divisive character on the online Chelsea presence fan base. Is that words? I don't know why. I think he's top for goal involvements for the Chelsea team. He works very hard. He loves the club. Why is that not enough? Still, articles are linking him with Barcelona. And of course, the Barcelona midfield ain't so bad, is it? Frankie de Jong and Pedri, etc. Let's jump into this article from football.london and see what's being said about young Mason Mount. Mason Mount linked with shocked transfer. Article written by Bobby Vincent. According to Footmercarto, Barcelona are interested in the signing of Chelsea attacking midfielder at a push, I'd say, Mason Mount, when the summer transfer window opens. The 23-year-old has just over 2 years remaining on his Blues contract and is now being linked with a surprise departure from Stamford Bridge. It would certainly be a surprise transfer. He does absolutely adore Chelsea Football Club. He's been here for the entirety of the majority of his life as a human. That's how long. Mount's recent form has caused criticism from many accounts on social media, lol, but his talents and importance to the team is undeniable. Since making his debut in August 2019, the England international has featured 150 times for Chelsea in all competition. Off the bat, that's wild, already 150 appearances for Chelsea at just the age of 23. You imagine he'd hopefully stay for another decade, who knows, maybe longer, but another decade. Imagine how many appearances he could rack up for Chelsea Football Club. Now, only 2 years left on his deal. That's the time that clubs do start thinking about him. Of course, he is highly rated. He's like in the Ballon d'Or ranking. You know, he's won the Champions League at a young age. He's one of the first names on the team sheet for England and Chelsea. If clubs are looking around from European, other European leagues going, you know what, we'd never thought we'd be able to get Mason Mount, but what's going on with their club? They're being sold, they're in turmoil. He's entering the last 2 years of his deal, which is when certain clubs look at availabilities. Is it likely? No. It's almost certainly an impossibility. I mean, I'm not saying if there was, a situation where Chelsea don't want to give Mason Mount a new deal, some crazy stuff happens with the ownership, and Barcelona say, do you want a lot of money to come and play for Barcelona? In a certain world, it might happen. Now, a lot of people who don't like Mason Mount would be laughing at this story, but the truth is the people who do not rate Mason Mount are largely and almost exclusively online trolls. even if they don't consider themselves trolls, they'll probably be doing it to follow a certain theme or fad. The truth is, Mason Mount can improve, and the truth is, Mason Mount hasn't been in good form lately. But also the truth is, he's been one of our most important players over recent years. Of course, winning player of the season as well, like last year I believe it was. So, you know, incredibly important. He had like a goal involvement in the quarterfinal, semi-final and final of the Champions League win last season. It's got the most goal involvements for Chelsea this season. Need I say more? And he's sort of recognised for his pressing and dead balls, all that kind of stuff, man. So, that's the first story. Barcelona looking at Mason Mount, and being Chelsea News, the series here on the channel, we reflect on all big headlines. And of course, that was dominating across loads of publications. So we've done it. Let's move on and let's talk about the sale of Chelsea Football Club and Todd Boehly's gang. So we are referencing an article today from the Evening Standard. Boehly's brought in his homie to join his big Blues buying gang. This could potentially be good. It's more money, more backing. It's his associate from the LA Dodgers. Let's have a little read of this article from the Evening Standard and see what's being said. Chelsea takeover. LA Dodgers chief Mark Walter, worth $3.3 billion, joins Todd Boehly's bid to buy the club. This is written by Mark Mayo. Todd Boehly has been backed in his bid to buy Chelsea by fellow LA Dodgers co-owner Mark Walter, who is worth £3.3 billion. The battle to buy the Stamford Bridge club from Roman Abramovich is expected to reach a climax this month, with Bruce Buck and Marina Granovskaya locked in talks with the final 4 interested parties. Indeed, it's the next phase when Granovskaya and Bruce Buck are meeting the interested buyers and bidders, and eventually, of course, they will sit down with Thomas Tuchel, though Thomas Tuchel is seemingly trying to distance himself as much as he can from the purchasing process, because he feels like almost that he's not important. He wants to put the trust in other people's hands, which I kind of understand. Dude has got his work cut out for him as it is, with Chelsea looking like they are imploding on the pitch after conceding 7 goals in 2 games, of course, to Brentford and Real Madrid, respectively. Boehly himself, worth an estimated £4.7 billion, was in attendance for Chelsea's Champions League defeat to Real Madrid on Wednesday, ahead of discussing his bid with the club. According to The Athletic, Walter has joined the Americans' takeover consortium, although it is unclear how much of his own money he's committed to the project. This stuff's gonna always be loose, but I think this could be a good thing, and you'll find out why as we read on. While Boehly is merely one of the 5 main business partners in the Guggenheim Baseball Management Company that owns and runs the MLB giants, the Dodgers, Walter is its chief executive. Walter is the big daddy, ladies and gentlemen, and he's coming into the Chelsea bid. The Iowa native in his early 60s is chairman of the 2020 World Series champions, who have become arguably the sport's best team in the near decade. GBM has been in charge. This winter has seen the Dodgers made a number of bold moves in the market, signing all-star first baseman Freddie Freeman from last year's champions, the Atlanta Braves, on a 6-year, £124 million contract. Oh, hold on, we're going to talk about that in a second. Let's read the last couple of sentences. Boehly and Walter are not the only MLB owners to be interested in Chelsea, with the Ricketts family, in charge of the Chicago Cubs, also making a bid that has been beset by fan protests. Yeah, we all know about the Ricketts family and how problematic they are, and the No to Ricketts campaign on social media, and indeed the fan protest outside Stamford Bridge before the Brentford loss. Now look, this is important because both these guys from the Dodgers, they're worth a lot of money, they're coming from a successful franchise, but they're buying players, they're spending big recently. This is a demonstration of their sporting ethos, where they want to win, but they understand you've got to buy big players to win, and you've got to spend a lot of money. 124 million pound contract. That speaks volumes. They'll be coming into the Premier League, which they know is where the money is, and which they know is where the money is spent. And they're coming from a place of knowing they need to spend money, and they're coming from a place where they have indeed spent money to win. I maintain, or I subscribe to the same thing as everyone else. I think Todd Boehly is the best option, not just because he's got no particular skeletons in his closet, but also because he's coming from the LA Dodgers, where they want to spend to win. And he said it himself, what governs success is winning championships. Not like qualifying for top 4, not staying competitive, it's like winning trophies. And to do that, obviously you need to have a good infrastructure. They'll be heavily data driven. I think Todd Boehly, that's what they've been speaking about. He'll look at models to help with running in terms of good data, which makes you immediately think of like Liverpool. Like, you know, they've just signed Carvalho for like nothing. Obviously they've signed Luis Diaz, and obviously they signed Diego Jota for probably collectively less than what Chelsea spent on Romelu Lukaku. Good assessing targets really well, probably data driven, but also Todd Boehly's consortium coming from a space of wanting to spend money. Bam! To me, that sounds ideal. So we've gone from a kind of silly, probably ludicrous articles of Mason Mount being linked to Barcelona, one side, and then also you've got promising stuff with Todd Boehly's consortium bringing in the chief into his group to bid for Chelsea. We'll see what happens. I think things will heat up soon. There has been an extension on the date in terms of when the bidders can be done, but I kind of expected that. Genuinely, I thought that was always going to happen. We'll see what happens. I'm feeling good. Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Let's start up a conversation about the new ownership. Let's start up a conversation about, you know, players. I want to hear you guys chatting amongst yourselves. Please do interact, like dropping a like. It does help me out a lot, and of course you are welcome to subscribe. We're nearing 150,000 subscribers. Wild. You can be the guys to help me tip over to the edge and reach that landmark. And of course, feel free to check out SPITCH. The link will be in the top of the description. Woo! All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the football, and I'll see you very soon.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I love me, bitch.